Hello students, this is Mohua ma'am. I am again with the same chapter number 10, that is respiration in organisms, right? I have already uploaded my first video from the chapter and today I am with second video of the same chapter, respiration in organisms, right? So first of all, already I had a discussion with you about what is breathing and what is respiration in my last video. So to go into this topic, today's topic, let me tell you again about the respiration. So respiration, what you have studied is a life process involving intake of oxygen from the surrounding, oxidation of food. Oxidation of food means breaking down of food in the presence of oxygen, right? So respiration involves what? Intaking oxygen from the surrounding. That oxygen helps to break down the food particles that we are eating and it helps to release, and in this process what is released? Energy is released and carbon dioxide is eliminated out, is released out, right? So the byproduct of respiration is energy we are getting as well as we are eliminating carbon dioxide. So these two are the byproducts of respiration. Clear? Now about the types of respiration I will discuss here in today's video. Before that, let me tell you one thing. The food, we know that food can be broken down with or without oxygen, right? So depending on whether the food is broken down in the presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen, on that basis respiration is of two types, right? Sometimes food is broken down in the presence of oxygen. In some cases, food is broken down in the absence of oxygen. So on this basis, respiration is divided into two categories, two types. Those two types are aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, right? Now respiration, that first I am telling about aerobic respiration. Respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration. In other words, you can say that when the breakdown of food occurs with the use of oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration, right? And the organisms here where the breakdown of food occurs with the use of oxygen, those organisms are called aerobes, A-E-R-O-B-E-S, right? Second is about anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is when the breakdown of food occurs without the use of oxygen, it is called anaerobic respiration. Or in other words, it is sugar breaks down to form water and carbon dioxide as it releases energy. This is aerobic respiration. Clear the difference? Aerobic means when the breakdown of food occurs in the presence of oxygen, means respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic means when the breakdown of food occurs without the use of oxygen, it is called anaerobic respiration. So first of all, what happens in aerobic respiration? I have already told you the organisms that are involved in aerobic respiration, those who are respiring aerobically, those organisms are called aerobes, right? So what happened in aerobic respiration? This is the equation of aerobic respiration. What happens in aerobic respiration? Glucose is completely broken down to carbon dioxide and water. And here a large amount of energy is released. As it is taking place in the presence of oxygen, glucose is broken down, means glucose reacts with oxygen and it helps to release what? What is released here? What is the byproduct here is carbon dioxide and water with a large amount of energy is released, right? This aerobic respiration occurs in most organisms like insects, worms, fish, frogs, snakes, birds, human beings and all the animals, right? Now about anaerobic respiration, what I said, which occurs in the absence of oxygen, means those who are respiring anaerobically, they are respiring in the absence of oxygen, right? And the organisms who are respiring anaerobically, those organisms are called anaerobes, anaerobes, right? So in case of aerobic, what I said, those organisms who are respiring aerobically are called aerobes, aerobes, and the organisms that are respiring anaerobically, those are called anaerobes. Clear? So what happened during anaerobic respiration? There is incomplete or partial breakdown of glucose. Clear? And here much less energy is released. What I said, in anaerobic respiration, incomplete or partial breakdown of food takes place, breakdown of glucose takes place, and very less energy is released here. Now, in yeast and plants, yeast is a type of fungi, right? In case of yeast and plants, glucose is broken down to alcohol, but in animals, glucose is broken down to lactic acid. There is a difference in anaerobic respiration, in case of anaerobic respiration, in case of yeast and plants, right? Here glucose is broken down to alcohol, but in case of animals, that glucose is broken down to lactic acid, those animals who are respiring anaerobically. I will give you the more details, you will understand about it, right? So whatever you can see here on the screen, here glucose in the absence of oxygen, it forms what? They are giving what? Carbon dioxide plus alcohol, and less amount of energy is released. This reaction takes place in case of yeast and plants. Now, anaerobic respiration doesn't require oxygen. These are those, you can see from the picture the name of all these organisms. Like first one is Paramecium, you know very well, right? So, you all know all these organisms who does not require oxygen for respiration. Now, this one in case of animals, as I have told you, two cases. In case of yeast and plants, glucose is broken down to alcohol. But in case of animals, glucose in the absence of oxygen is broken down to lactic acid and energy, right? So here I just want to clarify, in case of aerobic, what you have said, what you have seen, glucose in the presence of oxygen is broken down to carbon dioxide, water and energy. But in case of anaerobic respiration, two cases are there. First, in case of yeast and plants. Second, in case of animals. In case of yeast and plants, glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen, and it produces alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. But in case of animals, glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen, and it produces lactic acid and energy, which you can see here on the screen. Am I clear? Now, anaerobic respiration occurs in yeast, some plants and some animals, right? So, in animals, it occurs in certain parasites and some specific cells like muscle cells of human beings. Anaerobic respiration, what I have told, it takes place in case of some parasites. About parasites, you know, you have studied it in chapter number 1. So, anaerobic respiration occurs in certain parasites and some specific cells in case of human beings. Those cells are muscle cells. In the muscle cells, those cells are respiring anaerobically, right? Aerobic respiration is more efficient than anaerobic one. Why? Because more energy is produced during aerobic respiration. So, in case of aerobic respiration, more amount of energy is released than in case of anaerobic respiration. Clear? So, students, conversion of glucose into alcohol or acid in the absence of oxygen to release energy takes place in anaerobic respiration. So, what I told you, in case of anaerobic respiration, glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen to releases what? Alcohol and energy, and in another case lactic acid and energy. Clear? But certain areas of our bodies where anaerobic respiration also takes place. There are certain areas in our bodies, as I have told you, in case of human beings, it takes place in our muscle cells, right? So certain areas in our bodies are there where those cells are respiring anaerobically, right? One such area is human muscles, as I have told you. So students, what happens in muscles if the glucose is partially broken down? Because we know anaerobic means glucose is partially breaking down, right? Now, can you relate when aerobic respiration takes place in human body and when anaerobic respiration takes place? Okay, fine. Let me give you a very simple example. Sometimes when you go for jogging for 1 hours or 2 hours, you tends to get tired, right? And in another case, you are just sitting and reading a book. So tell me, in which case you need more energy? Means in case of jogging or in case of just sitting and reading your books? Yes, obviously, in case of jogging, you need more energy because you are doing physical exercise there, right? So you can understand here that your body needs more energy obviously in case of jogging, right? Now, we know that during heavy exercise, means what happens, let me tell you, when you are going for jogging or doing heavy physical exercises, at that time your muscles are respiring anaerobically to meet your oxygen demand, because at that time when you are doing heavy exercise, your body needs more and more energy, and more energy from where you will get when you can get more amount of oxygen. Means at that time your body need more oxygen, right? To meet the demand of more oxygen, at that time the muscle cells are respiring anaerobically, right? Let me clear you this fact very clearly. During heavy exercise, like running, at the time of doing heavy exercise or running or gymnastics, our muscles starts aching, right? Means starts paining because they start respiring anaerobically. As the demand for oxygen becomes much more that time than what is supplied by respiration, right? Whatever the normal respiration process is going on, it's okay, but whenever you are doing heavy exercise, your body needs more and more oxygen, right? And to fulfill that demand of getting more oxygen, our body starts respiring anaerobically, right? At that time our muscles starts paining, right? So as a result, what happens? A temporarily deficiency of oxygen occurs, right, at the time of heavy exercise, and to meet the demand of the body, our muscle cells start respiring anaerobically. So in the absence of oxygen, glucose breaks down partially to form, at that time it forms lactic acid and releases some energy, right? The energy produced helps in the activity being done, and lactic acid starts accumulating in the muscles. That is why lactic acid starts accumulating, depositing in the muscles. That is why at that time our muscle starts paining, right? Our muscle starts aching, right? So this accumulation of lactic acid causes muscle ache and cramps, right? That is called muscle cramp, okay? So these muscle cramps can be relieved by some methods are there. Now, how can we get relief from such muscle cramps, right? First is by a hot water bath or a massage caused, they increase the what happened if you go for massage, body massage, or if you take a hot water bath. These are the two methods which helps you to means you will in a very short period of time you will get relief from muscle cramps, right? Now, how these gives you quick relief? Why this gives you quick relief? Because these increase the circulation of blood, and increased circulation of blood means increased supply of oxygen, right? When the blood is circulating properly in your bodies, obviously there will be a means our body starts getting more oxygen, right? And that helps in complete breakdown of lactic acid. If once our body gets more oxygen by the blood circulation, it helps to break down those lactic acid into again carbon dioxide and water, and we are getting relief from such type of muscle cramps or muscle ache. Clear? I hope this muscle ache or muscle cramp you all have understood, right? Now I am telling about yeast. Yeast performs the process of anaerobic respiration. About yeast, let me tell you, yeast is a unicellular fungi, right? It is a fungi word I think you have heard. It is unicellular, means yeast is having only one cell in their body, okay? Yeast metabolizes sugar anaerobically to produce alcohol, and yeast is used in producing alcoholic beverages like beer and wine. I am telling you about here, whatever is you are getting on the screen. Yeast performs the process of anaerobic respiration, which leads to the production of alcohol by incomplete breakdown of sugar. Whatever sugar particles has been consumed, yeast is partially, incompletely breaking down that sugar and releases what? It helps in the production of alcohol. See here, while making bread, yeast is used. So, yeast is used in the baking and brewing industries. In the baking industry, reproduction means respiration in yeast releases bubbles of carbon dioxide, which spread through the dough, making it rise. Right? While making the bread, what people are adding there? Yeast with that bread when they are making the dough with the help of the flour, and with the help of yeast is doing what? It helps to make the dough fluffy, soft and fluffy. That is why doctors are advising that as yeast is a unicellular fungi, so before taking bread, you have to bake it properly, means you have to put it on the flame properly so that you can kill those microorganisms if anything is there, right? Now, yeast ferments the sugars in fruit and grains to produce alcohol. Okay, for the production of beer and wine, this yeast is used in the producing such type of alcoholic beverages. Okay, now aerobic and anaerobic respiration you all have understood, right? Now I am just telling you the difference between these two. Aerobic respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen and anaerobic occurs in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration involves the exchange of gases between an organism's and outside environment. Anaerobic helps in the exchange of in anaerobic exchange of gases is absent. In aerobic respiration, it occurs in the cytoplasm and mitochondria. Cytoplasm and mitochondria are the organisms which are present inside a cell, right? So, cytoplasm and mitochondria are the name of the cell organelles which are found inside a cell, inside a living cell, right? Now, in case of anaerobic, it occurs only in the cytoplasm. Now, aerobic respiration, it always releases carbon dioxide and water, and in anaerobic, end products may vary. Sometimes it produces lactic acid, sometimes it produces alcohol in other cases. Aerobic respiration, it always releases carbon dioxide and water, I have already told you. Now, students leave this point because this point you will not understand. It yields 36 ATP, means here you can write, in case of aerobic respiration, it releases large amount of energy, and in case of anaerobic respiration, it produces less amount of energy, right? You don't write this ATP. ATP actually is a form of energy. So, this one you will not understand now. In this point, instead of this point, you will write, in case of aerobic, it produces large amount of energy, and in anaerobic, it produces less amount of energy, right? Now, example in case of aerobic is cells in our body, anaerobic is yeast and muscle cells only. Now, some interesting facts I just want to share with you. Why do you yawn? Yawn means, yes, you know the Bengali word, whatever. Why do you yawn? When you are sleeping or drowsy, the lungs do not take in enough oxygen from the air. So this causes a shortage of oxygen in your body. So the brain senses this shortage of oxygen, means brain can understand when brain gets the information that there is shortage of oxygen. They sends a message that causes you to take a deep long breath, a yawn. And the Bengali of it is hai tola. Right? This is the reason of we are yawning. Now, another fact is the right lung is larger than the left lung because the left lung needs to make room for the heart. Because heart is present towards the left lung, so in that place, lungs has to share a heart to the share a part to the heart, share a room to the heart. Isn't it interesting, right? Now, why should we breathe through our nose? This is very important. This you should know. Why we are breathing through our nose, why we are not breathing through our eyes or ears or any other organs. Okay. So, our nasal cavity contains hair. These hair entrap any dust particles or other materials and do not allow them to reach the lungs. Yes, it is, because inside our nose, the openings which are present in your nose are called nostrils, and when you are inhaling air, you have seen that inside our nose some small hair type structures are there. Like those hairs are not allowing the dust particles to go inside. Right? So that is why, so thus inhaled air is dust free and clean. So whatever we are inhaling, those hair like structures, they are not allowing them to go inside the lungs. So the inhaled air is dust free and clean. If, however, these particles are able to get past the hair in the nasal cavity, the sensory lining of the nasal cavity gets irritated and we sneeze. Sometimes we are sneezing when dust enters in our nose, right? So sneezing throws out these foreign particles from the air we are inhaling. That is why we have such type of air particles in our nose. That is why we are inhaling through our nose, and nose is connected with our windpipe and windpipe is connected with our lungs. That is why we are breathing through our nose. Another is breathing rate increases with physical activity as the body needs more energy and therefore more oxygen. So, if you do more physical activity, your breathing rate increases. Another is deep breathing can relieve headache, backaches, stomach aches and sleeplessness. Deep breathing, whenever you can't sleep properly, if you are having headache or backache or stomach, anything like this type of things are there, you start taking inhale deep breath, inhale oxygen as well as exhale it, right? Do it for some time, so you will get relief from headache or backache or stomach ache. It is one of the best overall technique for stress relief. So try this out yourself and advise your family members also to breathe deeply too. Now, before discussing about the homework, let me tell you one more thing. Today's topic I have discussed about the types of respiration, means the two stages in the process of respiration. First I said about breathing, means anaerobic and anaerobic respiration I had discussed. Now two stages in the process of respiration is breathing and cellular respiration. Breathing means intake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide, right? Cellular respiration means process in which food molecules are broken down into simpler molecules within the cells using what? Oxygen, and releases energy. This is called internal respiration. So I hope you have understood the difference between breathing and respiration, right? Now about anaerobic respiration, let me tell you the most important point. There are two types of anaerobic respiration, right? Means I have told you about anaerobes, right? The organisms who are respiring anaerobically are called anaerobes. I have told you, right? These anaerobes are also divided into two categories. Some are facultative anaerobes, Facultative, facultative anaerobes, and another is obligate anaerobes, Obligate. The difference I am telling you. Facultative anaerobes are capable of growing in both presence and absence of oxygen, right? Example is Escherichia coli, which is called capital E. coli, C-O-L-I. In my next video again I will write it and you can understand this, right? Example of it is E. coli. These are having the capability to grow in presence as well as absence of oxygen. So this comes under facultative anaerobes. Obligate anaerobes means who are capable of growing only in the absence of oxygen, right? The name of example of it is a bacteria. The name of that bacteria is Clostridium tetani. In my next video, I will give you the spelling. The name is Clostridium, C-L-O-S-T-R-I-D-I-U-M, Clostridium tetani. Right? It is a type of bacteria and this bacteria is causing a disease which is called tetanus. Tetanus word you all have heard, right? It causes tetanus. So, these are the two types of anaerobes who are respiring anaerobically, right? Facultative are respiring in presence of both presence or absence of oxygen, and obligate only growing in the absence of oxygen, right? Now, come to the homework portion. This homework portion you have to write in your copies and write the answers by your own. You have to try by your own. If you can't, then I will help you, right? First, after getting the video, you go through each and every line of the video. Then you read your NCERT books, right? After doing that, after completing that part, then you write these question answers in your copies and do it. Try it. First question is define the following. Respiration you all know, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, aerobes, anaerobe, breathing, cellular respiration. Done? Now, when does anaerobic respiration take place in humans? I have already discussed in today's video. Name the two main processes in respiration. You all know that two main processes of respiration, which I told you, breathing and cellular respiration. Now, accumulation of which chemical compound causes muscle cramps? Which chemical compound is accumulating that leads to muscle ache and cramps? Think of it, I already discussed in this video. Right, students? So, do this homework. If you can't, you are free to ask me the question. Okay, so do it in your classwork copies, and when I tell you to submit, you just submit your classwork copies with your answers, right? So, I hope you all have understood today's discussion, whatever I have discussed. Go through your books, go through this video. If you can't, you are free to write it in the comment box. Thank you everybody and have a nice day.